This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Good evening.
Hello, good morning.
So 2 minutes we will wait for other learners to join and then we'll start our discussion. 2 minutes we'll wait for other learners to join. Once again, welcome to Isha Training Solutions. So yesterday I was explaining about the important course content that we are going to cover. So today pretty much we are going to start the actual discussion. So first topic is actually performance engineering introduction. Performance engineering introduction. So performance engineering introduction, why we are getting that understanding? Because right now most of us, we don't know the differentiation or the understanding of performance testing means what, performance engineering means what. Okay, performance testing means what, performance engineering means what. Okay, so if you are a performance tester right now, okay, so definitely people will expect, apart from providing only numbers, some advanced level activity. I mean, why don't you contribute in finding the problem statement? Why don't you contribute in fixing the problem? Like that they'll expect little more from you apart from the regular performance testing activity. Apart from the regular performance testing activity. Okay, now the differentiation should be there. Okay, so performance testing means what are all the activities you are doing? You are preparing the script, you are executing, you are providing the number, that's all. Okay, you are providing the number, there ends your activity. Okay, you are providing, say like search transaction is actually taking 10 seconds. Okay, that is what a tester is actually doing. Okay, tester is basically doing, they are providing the numbers. What engineers they are doing? Engineering, which means that you are finding the root cause of the problem, and sometimes you are providing the findings and recommendation, and in sometimes you are even trying to fix the problem. You're trying to fix the problem. So that is what the engineering activity. Say like the same search transaction is actually taking 10 seconds. So what you are going to do as an engineer, you are going to find that 10 seconds, how much of a time it is actually spending in the browser layer, how much of a time that is actually spending in the database layer, how much of a time that is actually spending in the application layer. All those things, if you are trying to do investigation, your performance engineering activity is actually starting. Performance engineering activity is actually starting. Currently, in many organization, they are doing this activity. Okay. If you are going and asking them, like, I know performance testing tools, LoadRunner I know, Jmeter I know, and then I know other performance testing tools. Uh, so they'll say no. Apart from that, have you ever worked on the front end part of it? Have you ever worked on the application part of it? Have you ever worked on the database part of it? Like that, they will ask question. The industry trend is actually moving towards that. The industry trend is actually moving towards that. So that is where we are going to learn the performance engineering concepts. Performance engineering concepts. Okay. So now you will get an understanding, right? Only numbers, testing. Reason for numbers, recommendation for that numbers, solution for that numbers. There comes the engineering activity. Okay. There comes the engineering activity. Okay. So, then the next question will come. How you are going to do that? Okay. So either you do it or you ask somebody to do it. Okay. Either you do it or you ask somebody to do it. Okay. Why I'm telling like this? Because all things cannot be done by a single person. Okay. You cannot be a database person, you cannot be a application person, you cannot be a UI person, you cannot be a infrastructure person. All cannot be done by a single person. Okay. So where and all possible, you can contribute. Okay. You can provide suggestions, you can provide recommendations, you can provide root cause analysis. Yes, if you are aware of it, you can do it, or you can instruct somebody to do it. That is also still you can perform. That is also still you can perform. So now we have the understanding. Performance testing means what? Performance engineering means what? Performance testing means what? Performance engineering means what? Okay. So in testing, everybody knows it, right? You know, performance testing tool, that is more than sufficient. Knowing performance testing tool, that is more than sufficient in performance testing activity. But in performance engineering activity, you may be knowing little more extra tools, uh, profiling tools, or some DB monitoring tools, some APM tools, some client side monitoring tools, like that. You should be knowing little more extra, because that is what I told you, where the time is actually spending, you have to understand it. Means little more understanding you should have in these tools as well. Okay. So performance testing side, you are going to gather the requirement, and then do the planning, and then do the scripting, and then execute the test, and then prepare the report, and then provide the report to the customer. These are the regular activities you are going to perform in performance testing activity. In performance testing activity, these are the regular activity that you are going to perform. In in performance engineering, it is like kind of a developer and developer task that they are doing, right? Say consider software development life cycle is there, right? So in conjunction to that, performance engineers job also will be there. But exactly, they are not going to do the same activity, but they are going to do similar kind of activity done by the performance engineer. Then you guys can ask me, sir, if the performance engineer is actually going to do that activity, why not developer can do this activity? Why performance engineer is actually required in this case? Okay. So if you look at it, the day in day out work of developer, okay, what developers are doing is they are they are developing their code, and they are giving the environment for functional tester. They are giving the environment for performance tester. They are giving the environment for user acceptance tester, and then finally they are helping the production support to do the deployment of code in production. So if you look at it, the developer is already heavily loaded. The developer is actually already heavily loaded. So in that case, because of the timeline pressure, because they are running behind time, because of the timeline pressure, uh, they are unable to focus on these aspects. actually saying Actually saying, this can be done by the developers also. This can be done by the developers also. In certain organization, they call those developers as architects, because they are fine tuning the application performance. They are fine tuning the application performance. Okay, but this activity is not happening regularly in all the organization. Developers doing the fine tuning activity, right? It is not happening in all the organization. There are reputed organization where the developers are very much experienced in these activity. Those organization only right now they are following these procedures. So that is the reason their applications are actually very very good. Their applications are actually very very good. What they are doing, so what they will do, they will regularly review their codes. They'll regularly review their code syntax, the way the application is actually working. All those things they will regularly review. Okay, say like a new joiner is actually coming into their application, into their organization, a new developer. So what these senior developers they will do, they will review their codes every day evening. Whatever the code written by the junior developer, that code is actually reviewed by the senior person every day, so that they'll find if there is any problem, is there any unwanted looping that are there, unwanted logic that they are having. All those things reviewed by the senior person, and then they'll try to fine tune the application. These things are actually happening in the reputed organization. Okay, but a cmm level 3 company, a cmm level 5 company, they are very early in this performance testing activity. They are startup company, so those organizations what they are doing, they are not following the process. They are not following the process. Sometimes because of that reason only, their application is actually poorly performing. Their application is actually poorly performing. Okay, say consider in this group itself, say an example, Lokesh is actually working for an organization for 10 years. Okay, Lokesh is actually working for an organization for 10 years. I'm joining that organization newly. Okay, I'm joining that organization newly. Actually, by process, Lokesh has to provide walkthrough of that application, code walkthrough, application walkthrough. Everything has to be provided by Lokesh. But since because Lokesh is actually busy, Lokesh is actually completely busy. What Lokesh is actually doing, he is actually sharing the source code with me. He's actually sharing the source code with me, and he's asking me to write a piece of code. Okay, some small functionality is actually sharing with me. Okay, so as a new developer, I'm joining into the new organization newly. I don't know anything, right? Any background, what is actually happening, what code is actually available, what concept that they are following, what algorithm that they are having it, what framework that they are right now using it. All those things I don't know. But I wanted to write the piece of code shared by the senior developer. If I'm going and asking him multiple times, what is actually happening, is it right or what, is it correct or what, like that, if I'm asking, the senior developer will think bad about me. So because of that, what I will do, say like simply what I will do, if if the condition is actually meeting, if the condition is actually meeting, my code will work. Else, my senior code will work. Okay, I'm writing the logic like this. I'm writing the logic like this. If condition is actually meeting, my code will work. Else, my senior code will work. Actually, if this code is not reviewed by Lokesh, this will go to production. This will go to production. Because of these small mistakes only, the application is actually poorly performing nowadays. The application is actually poorly performing nowadays because of these reasons only, guys. So that is what I'm saying. In certain organization, since because they don't have the proper process, their application is actually performing poorly because unwanted things that are happening in the code. Unwanted things that are happening in the code. So there only performance engineer role is actually comes into picture. That is what I told you. Developers are always running behind timeline. For performance engineers, mostly you will not have a timeline pressure. At least they will not have a timeline pressure because their job, their task is to optimize the application performance. Their task is to optimize the application performance. So what performance engineers will do in this case? They'll take the source code, they'll understand the architecture, they'll understand the functionality, and then they'll try to go through each and every layer, and they'll find, okay, there are two things, right? There are applications, now only they are doing the development. There are application, they are already developed, on top of it we are doing the optimization. Okay, two things, right? One is new application, another one is existing application. A new application and then existing application. For new application, doing performance optimization is little easy because then and there you can review the application. I mean, that is actually in the development stage only, right? Very frequently you can do the analysis of what is actually happening in the application, and you can implement your performance engineering strategy on that application. So straight away you can resolve the problem then and there. Okay, the cost of optimizing those application would be little less. Cost of optimizing those application would be little less because you don't want to drastically change anything. You don't want to drastically change anything. But if it is a existing application in the sense like the application is already there for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, like that, if it is there, in that application you are trying to do optimization, you are trying to do performance engineering, means the cost of the amount of investment required to do the optimization, sometimes it is very high. Sometimes it is very high if you are trying to do the optimization in the very old application. Okay, so why it will be very old application, investment will be very high? Because sometimes even you need to rewrite certain portion of the code. Sometimes you need to rewrite the entire screen. Sometimes you may need to change the architecture. Sometimes you may need to change the framework. All these things are actually required if you are doing the optimization in the existing application. Okay, but no other go, if the requirement is actually coming from the customer, we have to do it. But I'm saying this will be little easy in the new application, this is a little tough in the older application. That is the understanding that you should have it. Okay, so which means that performance engineers role all the way coming across the layer, all the way coming across the layer, right from the initial requirement gathering till the production deployment, everywhere performance engineer role is actually there. Performance engineer role is actually across the place. Okay, so the organization where developers are unable to manage their the application performance, there comes your performance engineer's role. That is what I'm trying to explain. But in certain organizations, still they are making one or two developers as an architect, and then they are trying to do the same activity whatever we are going to discuss in the future, right? The same activity is actually done by the developers also. Okay. And one more thing also, say like in this forum, how many performance testers are there? Any performance testers?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Varun, I am also.
Yeah. Okay. So what will happen, I'll tell you. I mean, personal experience I'm sharing. Say like if you are a 3-year experienced performance tester or 5 years experienced performance tester, your manager will not expect much from you in the early stage of your career. Okay, in the early stage of your career, they will not expect much from you. They'll say, okay, have you collected the requirement, whether you did the planning, you did the scripting, you did the execution, and then you did the report. That's what the expectations would be. But when you are approaching your 8 years, 10 years, more than 10 years, no, that time the manager's expectation would be little high. That time also, if you are going and telling them like, yes, I am doing the requirement gathering, yes, I am doing the planning, yes, I am doing the scripting, yes, I am doing the execution, like that, if you are telling it to your manager, they'll say, boss, this can be done by even 3-year experienced or 4-year experienced performance tester. I am expecting little more from you. I'm expecting little more from you. Why don't you do things shift left, or early performance testing, or try to contribute more in the root cause analysis, try to learn APM tools, try to contribute in the findings and recommendations, like that. They'll expect little more from you. They'll expect little more from you. That's where the performance engineer journey is actually beginning, guys. Okay, so nowhere you can call yourself as performance tester, because the expectations would be little early, little high, when you are going high in your career ladder. In your career ladder, you are approaching 8 years experience or 10-year experience or little more than that, you cannot still say like, I'll do scripting, I will provide number. They'll say like, that can be done by anybody, even a fresher can do it. What extra that you are doing, that is the expectation from the manager side. So in that case, so no other go, your journey of performance engineer is actually beginning there. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. Because in when I had a discussion with many performance testers, they'll tell the same thing. Yes, sir, this is what my manager is also expecting. My manager is keep on asking me like, what extra you are doing? You are doing a traditional thing only, nothing is new. During one-on-one meeting, he is actually continuously telling the same thing like this. So yes, performance engineer from performance tester would be mostly happening. Okay, mostly performance engineer journey is actually beginning from the performance tester role. Okay, actually saying, that's what I told you, right? Even developer can do it, but the journey always starts from performance testing to performance engineering, because performance testers are already having that understanding. That is the reason people are moving from performance testing to performance engineering. Okay, but but practically saying, this can be even start from developer side also. But developers will not have understanding about these things. I mean, whatever we are talking, right? Performance tuning, these that, like, they'll not have the straightforward understanding. Okay, so that's the reason mostly people are moving from performance testing to performance engineering. Okay, because performance testers are already having the fundamental understanding. Only thing is, they are cross skill their things, or upskill their things to move to performance engineer. Okay, that is what in real world mostly happening. Mostly performance tester journey migrate, I mean, their changeover from performance testing to performance engineering, that is actually happening. But even this can be done from the developer end as well. Even developers can also become a performance engineer. Only thing is, they have to follow the process. So now, till now, what we discussed about that understanding of performance engineering. Understanding of performance engineering. How, why, that question you should ask yourself. Okay, because performance engineering is actually a very 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 important stream of work, guys. Okay, if you are properly doing that, the recognition would be very very high for the performance engineers. Only thing is how you are going to transition from your current role to performance engineer. Okay, if you are properly understanding the concepts, your app layer, DB layer, infra layer, UI layer, all these concepts, if you are properly understanding it, you can easily do the transition. Okay, and it is a continuous learning. It is a continuous learning. You cannot say today night I started my thinking, tomorrow morning I wanted to become performance engineer. No, that is not going to happen. But ultimate goal is we are learning the fundamentals. We are going to start working on that. Over the journey you are going to gain more experience, and then you are going to expand your knowledge. That is what you are going to do it in the case of performance engineers, because performance engineers is a long journey. You are going to learn a lot of things, and then you are going to implement those things in your regular work, and then you're doing the application performance optimization. Application performance optimization. I'll take a pause here. Any question, guys? Still now, anybody have any question?
What is the difference between app layer and infra layer? Can you please explain that?
So your application is actually a Java application. Okay, or if your application is a .NET application, or if your application is actually a Node.js application, your application is actually a Python application. So that application level, is there any problem? In the Java level, .NET level, Node.js level, Python level, there is a problem, means that is actually application layer. Okay, but the application, say like this Java application is actually hosted on Apache Tomcat. That Apache Tomcat is actually hosted on Windows machine. Okay, that Windows machine is actually the infra layer. Okay, the machine where you are doing the installation configuration, that is actually the infra layer. The technology, the Java or .NET or Node.js or Python, those are your app layer. Okay, so the application layer, because of your application code, is there any problem or what? Okay, because of your infrastructure, is there any problem or what? Both the things are different. Clear, Raval?
Yes, it is clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So if I go back to, so introduction to performance engineering, at least right now you guys would, I mean, maybe having the understanding. If somebody is asking, you will be in a position to explain them, but this is what is actually happening in the real time. That is the reason that a role of performance engineer is actually comes into picture, like that you can explain to them. Okay, I hope you guys are clear. Okay, so next one is performance engineering life cycle. Performance engineering life cycle. I told you everywhere life cycle is there. Any activity that you do, life cycle is there. Okay, development means software development life cycle. Software testing means software testing life cycle. Performance testing means performance testing life cycle. Performance engineering means, now we are going to discuss about performance engineering life cycle, which is PELC. PELC. Okay, performance engineering life cycle. So I simply wanted to compare this against development activity, but don't think it is actually exactly the same. But I wanted to just little compare with the SDLC. Okay, SDLC comparison I wanted to do. Okay, So say an example. First activity, say like a developer is actually doing requirement gathering means. Say like a developer is actually doing the requirement gathering. What performance engineers will do? Yes, they will also do the same analysis only. In that place when performance engineers are there, when the actual requirement gathering is actually happening, in that phase when the performance engineers are there, what they have to do? Yes, they will also do the analysis only. They will also even think about system sizing. They'll also even think about the system sizing also. Okay, I mean the configuration of the system and all, they'll think about. So during this phase, say like when the requirement is actually gathered about a particular application, this is actually a early stage, right? The first stage. So what performance engineer mind, what they will think, what they will do when these requirement gathering is actually happening, they'll think about growth rate. They'll think about growth rate. Growth rate means what? Currently, how many users can come to your application? Future, how many users can come to your application? Over the period of time, how many user will come to your applications, like that? They'll think about the growth rate in the early requirement stage, because based on the growth rate only, based on the number of users that are coming to your application only, what you are going to do? You are going to design about your application architecture, infrastructure requirement, everything you are going to think in the early stage itself. That is what you are doing requirement gathering. So growth rate they'll think about, even they'll think about storage requirement. They'll think about storage requirement. Okay, how much of storage that is actually required. They'll also think about end user response time. End user response time. Okay, response time about each and every activity that they are doing. They'll also think about number of concurrent users. Number of concurrent user, how many concurrent users that they are going to use your application. They'll also think about peak transactions. Peak transaction. Okay, so what transaction, how much of volume, which is actually peak volume, like that also they'll think about. Okay, even what they will think, they'll give you the um, right resource to provide satisfactory performance. Satisfactory performance. Right resources, right resources to provide satisfactory performance. So all these things only your performance engineers will think about. Okay, during the requirement gathering phase itself, they'll think about all these factors, because all these factors, what it is actually going to do, all these factors is actually going to influence your application performance. Influence your application performance. And if you are not thinking about these things, and later part if you are trying to change anything, the cost of correction is actually very high. The cost of correction is actually very high. So that is the reason performance engineer major role is to understand all these things in the early stage itself. When the normal developer, when they are doing the requirement gathering, performance engineers will think about analysis, system sizing related information, and they'll also think about all these line of action, because they wanted to correct everything. They wanted to make sure everything is fine. They wanted to optimize everything. They wanted to fix the early problem and all. That is the reason they are following up with these things. They are following up with these things. I'll take a pass here. Any question, guys? Still no? Yeah.
It
So
looks good for now.
yeah. So the next life cycle activity. Okay. The first activity, yes, requirement gathering is actually happening. And under that situation, they are thinking about these things and then they are getting the answer for everything. The next one is what developers are doing. They are doing the architecture review. Architecture review. I would say in the same time, even performance engineer also can do the architecture review because very important work. Architecture review is actually very important work. If you are doing any mistake in the architectural level itself, then in the later part of the time, mostly in certain case, you cannot even correct it, or if you are trying to correct it, you have to invest a lot. Okay, so architecture is actually very important. The framework that you are going to follow, it's very important. Say like I'll give you a typical example. Say like you are developing one application. Okay, you are developing one application. After 5 years, after 10 years, I wanted to do any modification in my application. Okay, fundamental modification I want to do it in my application means you should have the provision in your architecture. You should have a provision in your architecture. You cannot straight away go and change everything. You should have a provision in your application in the early architecture itself. Then only after 5 years, after 10 years, you can do the modification without having any problem. So that is the reason I'm saying fundamentally you have to create your architecture, making sure futuristic plans and all you have to discuss. Okay, in future am I going to have a mobile version of my application? In future I am going to implement some other migration or what? In future I am going to have some other application added into my existing application or what? All those things you have to think during the architectural review time itself. During the architectural review time itself we have to think about all these factors. Okay, even developers also will do the same architectural review, but developers will think about development point of view only. Developers will think about development point of view only. They will not think about optimization point of view. But performance engineers should think about optimization point of view. You have to think like, okay, this is how the functionality is actually working. Is there anything can be done to optimize this application performance? Instead of going to multiple system, why don't you minimize the travel? Why don't you have a simple architecture understanding? Why don't you avoid complex interaction between the systems? Like that you can think about architectural review. Whenever somebody is actually sharing the architecture, the architecture should be very easy to understand. Then only you can easily review it, easily provide your suggestions. So in that way only architecture should be. So what performance engineers are actually going to do in this phase, they are going to think about how to optimize everything, okay. So just a minute, we have a lot of things to discuss also, but um, the learners who wanted to enroll for this course, okay, day one already started, guys. Okay, day one already started. The learners who wanted to enroll for this journey, please reach out to Kumar. Okay, Kumar number, Kumar sir number is actually this one. Okay, this is Kumar sir number. You can reach out to Kumar sir for any further information. Okay, anything related to course content, anything related to course timing. Okay, anything you wanted to discuss, course fees related information, you can reach out to Kumar sir. 8019952427. Okay, 8019952427. Okay, you can reach out to Kumar sir for any further information. Okay, this is actually a weekday session. Monday to Friday we are going to have the session. Saturday Sunday holiday. Okay, this is actually a weekday session. Monday to Friday, Saturday Sunday holiday. And this is a time slot also, 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Indian time. 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Indian time. Correspondingly in other locations, US, UK, Australia and all, correspondingly you can change the time. So 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. IST. Okay, that is what the time in which we are going to take this session. And all sample applications, artifacts, everything we are going to share through Google Drive. Through the Google Drive, we will share everything. You can download, set up everything in your machine. We can learn everything continuously. Similarly, all these sessions are actually recorded. Everything is actually recorded, and daily we will upload the video in YouTube playlist URL. Okay, they will team will share the playlist URL. Daily we will attach that video, and these videos you are going to have it for lifetime access. Okay, you can have it for lifetime access, and you can watch it n number of times, and then you can come back with a question we can discuss. Okay, that is also we are doing. Okay, this is actually planned for 25 plus hours of a session. Okay, so each day one hour we are planning, and we are going to have it for 25 plus hours of session. So those who wanted to enroll for this course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir 8019952427. Already we started our discussion actually saying the core concepts. I mean, the theoretical understanding of the performance engineering things. Yes, we started lot of practical learning that are going to come in the upcoming sessions. Yes, all things we are going to have it practically, and also interview preparation questions also will be there as well. Okay, so those who wanted to enroll for this course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir 8019952427. Okay, so thanks for the learners who joined today for evaluating us. Thanks for joining. And yes, continuously we are going to learn performance engineering concepts. Thanks for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.